Give it up for year 7. Welcome, everyone. My name is Nathan, and it is yet again another crazy day in the world of Pittsburgh Pirates. Thank you all for joining. If you're here live, make sure to comment below. Make sure to subscribe if you're also not already subscribed to the channel. Like I said, Ben Cherington, this is why we're doing this. Everyone is upset about this. The last time I did a live one of these was during the trade deadline because it was just completely awful. It was abysmal. So I was like, let's go live. So I wanted to already do an episode on today's happenings because Don Kelly did get extended. But then when the Ben Cherington news of him coming back happened, I was like, I think we need to go live here just to do something special. If people want to hop in, they can hop in, leave some comments down below. I'll try to read them if we get any. But yeah, what an awful day of Pirates baseball we just witnessed. Ben Cherington is back. He is going to be returning for a 7th year. All 6 years so far has been nothing but losing. And yeah, this was just a big disgrace to the fan base. As you can see, my hat, the Pirates will be better next year. I don't think you would think that hat can work every year because the Pirates stink every year, but it doesn't look like it's going to be like that next year because I have a couple clips. I'm hoping the audio works. If you watch this after it's done or if you're watching live, you'll be able to let me know, or I'll be able to let myself know if the clips work or not. But I have one from Travis Williams during his little press conference when the press was asking him questions. I also have one from good old Ben Cherington about his questionings he was getting during the Don Kelly press conference. But yeah, I don't know really what we want to start with. I have Give It Up for year 7 down below, but actually I want to start with the more positive thing. Don Kelly gets extended. Now, Donnie Ball, he still had a losing record, but we have to admit the team did play a lot better and looked like it had a lot more heart under him. Now, with Don Kelly being extended, it doesn't really change anything because the team is, well, still going to stink. And that's just the way to put it. The team is still going to suck because a certain man is still the general manager and a certain man still owns the team. And that will never change. But Don Kelly, I don't think he's done anything wrong. He had this team hovering around 500 with him as manager. If I have the record in my head, I think it was 59 and 65. Someone can probably correct me in the comments if they have it right now. But, I mean, the team did play better under Don Kelly. Now, I was at work today, and when Don Kelly, this was announced, I'm like, if they're extending the manager, this means the GM is more than likely going to stay. Because the whole thing about the GM hiring a manager is when a new GM comes in, more than likely you should have the full range to just change the entire coaching staff. You should be able to come in and just wipe everything clean. They did this in 2019 when Neil Huntington was fired by Bob, Frank Coonley, and all these other guys, Clint Hurdle, everyone. Clean slate. Bob Nutting brings in Travis Williams to be the president. He brings in Ben Cherington to be the GM. And then it's hired Derek Shelton. Derek Shelton's entire coaching staff is then built by Shelton because Ben Cherington chose to hire Shelton. Now it's gone into okay, are they going to fire Ben Cherington? They clearly aren't. And instead they extended Don Kelly. Good for Don Kelly. This is nothing. We're not going to rant about Don Kelly in this episode. But this just showed me, and I think it showed the fan base, that a certain GM was going to be returning. Now, like I said, this is nothing on Don Kelly. He's done nothing wrong. I think the team did play better under Don Kelly. But it's a large but here. This means Ben Cherington is going to be staying as the Pirates GM. And it sucks to say, because Don Kelly is from, they posted all these hype videos. And I know someone on Twitter, I think it was Connor Williams, said only the Pirates can make all these hype tapes and like Aura Farm with Don Kelly slow-mo highlight montage during the press conference after still acquiring a losing record, which he did have a losing record. That is not wrong. But the Pirates are going to be the Pirates. Now, there was a lot of stuff that actually did come out today. Noah Hiles had a great article. We're going to dive into that as well. And I'm sure a lot of people have read that as it went pretty viral. So it was a good day to be Noah Hiles on the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. And if you didn't watch my last episode, I actually had Noah Hiles on where we discussed some of the things. We discussed Braxton Ashcraft. We discussed O'Neill Cruz's concerns. And we also discussed the catching group going into next year. But, yeah. So Don Kelly's extended. I don't really have much else to add there. If we have any questions in the comments, just leave them down there below and we can just talk about it in the comments or live if anyone's watching right now. So let's get into the big stuff. Ben Cherington's back. I would like to congratulate Ben Cherington on 7 years. This is now lucky number 7, good old Big Ben number. The Steelers are looking for 7 rings. Stairway to 7. And maybe that just meant not Big Ben. Maybe Stairway to 7 for the Steelers just honestly meant the guys next door down the road. Ben Cherington was going to be returning. Man, I don't like this. This is just infuriating. I think this is just a big middle finger to the fan base. And it's something, I'm one of the most optimistic Pirates fans because I don't know if you've watched the North Shore 9 guys. I've been doing some stuff with them. I've gone on a couple post games. I had 2 post games this past weekend. I got my first chances to do it. Awesome stuff. And my record going into the year, I honestly predicted a modest 82-80. It wasn't like I didn't have them going to the playoffs, but I was like, this team should be above 500 or hovering around 500 because they finished 76-86 2 years in a row. So that would be like, okay, they were hovering around a playoff contention spot around the wild card last season. Maybe in 2025, they can grow on that. Well, in 2025, they were eliminated by about the second week of the season. By April 15th, the season was practically over. Derek Shelton quickly gets fired about a month into the year. And Ben Cherington's still here. Now, I am going to attempt to play 2 different clips in this episode, so hopefully the audio does work. I brought this up, so if you're in here watching, make sure to comment down below or comment in the comments. I can see them if the audio will work when we get to it. But I'm going to start right now with a Travis Williams quote, and this stuck out to me. So I'm going to share my screen right here, and I think a lot of people have seen this clip already. This is from 93.7 The Fans account. This is during the Ben Cherington. This is right after the press conference. So I'm going to try to see if this audio works. Hopefully it does. I haven't attempted this yet. So let's give it a try. And I'll try to pause it to break it down because there is a spot I do want to pause in this.
We felt at the end of the day that making a change as a general manager would set us back.
Let's stop right there. There's a problem I already see in this. And I love the face I paused him on. So let me replay this really quick. If anyone missed that.
We felt at the end of the day that making a change as a general manager would set us back.
We felt at the end of the day that making a change in the general manager would hold us back. Aren't we already going backwards? Is this just making the fans look stupid thinking we don't think the team already isn't going back? Let me play that again because it's just a dumb line to have to hear. And this is just telling the fans it feels like they don't think we have brains.
We felt at the end of the day that making a change as a general manager would set us back.
Let me ask you this, Travis Williams. I know you're definitely not listening to this, Travis Williams. But if you can hear the fans, please, look at the reporter right here. I think this is Gorman. He looks like he's done. Let's keep going through this.
That's not what our fans expect. That's not what we expect.
That's not what our fans expect. That's not what we expect. I think the fans have expected this for a while now. This is basically how it's been going on. So let's keep going.
We're looking in 2026 to make the playoffs. Period. Full stop.
This line right here is my favorite line. It's kind of cringe to listen to. So
6 to make the playoffs. Period. Full stop.
Period. Full stop. The goal is for 2026 to make the playoffs. Period. Full stop. If you're watching this, I want to see the reporter's face in the background. Look how it changes. Ready?
In 2026 to make the playoffs. Period. Full stop.
You can just see the reporter back here. He's just kind of like, oh, okay.
And so we did not want to veer from that, and we're pushing it all in and making sure that we are able to make the playoffs in 2026.
Well, everyone, it looks like we're making the playoffs in 2026, according to Travis Williams. Let's go, guys. We are going to the postseason. Isn't that awesome? I'm trying to figure out there we go. Isn't that awesome? According to Travis Williams, we will be making the postseason. Period. Full stop. Let's go. Period. Full stop. The Pirates are making the playoffs. Love to see it. Moving on. Let's play a Ben Cherington quote. Now, Ben Cherington, this part of it stuck out to me. He has his press conference. This is, of course, from the DK Pittsburgh Sports Pirates account. They put out some good content. I listen to them about every day, listen to the DK stuff. So I listened to this press conference that Ben Cherington did. It was not a live press conference. It was just on their YouTube channel. It was about 10 minutes long. If you want to go check it out, it's over on their channel. So I'm going to present my screen again. Now, this quote from Ben stuck out to me, and this basically is telling me what they are going to be doing this offseason, and it's basically what I thought it was going to be doing. So if you were expecting a free agent of any kind, no. Let's get into this. Sorry if it's quiet, because Ben Cherington talks a little bit too quiet sometimes.
And what do you think you've learned that will maybe be different in roster building for this coming year?
Yeah, I think that, first of all, we continue to learn, and I really do think are getting clear on the types of traits in hitters that.
Okay. Things are getting clear in the types of traits of hitters that they are looking for, by the way. That is what we're talking about. And the offense already stunk this year, so they're looking for specific traits.
We're making a bet on.
So let's go back a little bit.
We continue to learn, and I really do think are getting clear on the types of traits in hitters that we're making a bet on.
So these are the types of hitters they're going to be making a bet on. Think of the type of hitter that Spencer Horwitz was. You're making a bet on Spencer Horwitz to see if he can succeed. Now, he did succeed this year. I can give Ben Cherington that. Clearly. Spencer Horwitz was a good baseball player this year. I can give Ben Cherington the benefit of the doubt with that. But it gets a little bit interesting here as we keep going here.
In Pittsburgh, we need to be making bets on guys who are not proven. We may be able to make some bets on guys that are proven, and we'll pursue that too. But some of the targets have to be guys who are unproven.
He just said in Pittsburgh, the targets basically have to be unproven guys. Some of them might be able to be proven, but a lot of them, and I love the face he's making there. It just shows how I feel right now as a fan. He basically tells us that the Pirates are going to be they have to look at guys that are unproven. So basically, you're looking at players this offseason. If you want to scout players that you think the Pirates could acquire, they could sign, probably trade for, more than likely, they're going to be guys that, they're unproven. They're not hot commodities amongst the MLB markets. They're not a Bo Bichette on the free agent market. They're not a Pete Alonso on the free agent market. The Pirates are going to be shopping for your Spencer Horwitzes. Now, like I said, Horwitz worked, and I'm a big Spencer Horwitz fan. I liked what he did this year. But if you are trying to assess what the Pirates are going to be doing this offseason, and you are trying to predict players that you want to see the Pirates get, it is going to be players that, to put it lightly, are either blocked by another position, blocked by another player, that is. So think Spencer Horwitz being blocked by Vlad Jr. in Toronto. Cool, I understand that. Or you're taking a gamble on hope, sadly, another Alexander Canario type. And that is very mind-blowing that they are openly saying this to the public, that this is basically what they are going to have to do this offseason. Now, I don't know how long I'm going to stay live because I actually want to make a fuller episode about this and try to break this down even more, kind of just off of live. I know we had a couple viewers trickling in here every so often, so thanks if you tuned into this. But yeah, I just wanted to do a quick little emergency live to express frustrations. And also, Monday Night Raw is kind of boring tonight, so WWE's been kind of stale. But yeah, it's been bad. It has been very bad, and he's getting a 7th year. He is getting 7 years of losing. I can completely understand years 1 through 3 being bad. The COVID year, of course, I think that was actually the first season. Maybe it was 2019. But yeah, I've lost track of the Ben Cherington career arc so far. I can completely pass years 1 through 3 being horrible. Years 4, 5, and 6, you should probably be taking steps forward. Year 4, 76 and 86. I'm fine with that. Solid step forward. Year 5, you had a winning record at the trade deadline. I'm pretty sure it might have actually been just 500 or 1 over. And then you made trades for Brian De La Cruz, who is now, I don't even know if he's in the league anymore. He's on like his third team after the Pirates. And yeah, he was awful. And then IKF, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa was okay. He actually kept him, and now he's not on the team, and he's on the Blue Jays in the playoffs. So 2025, you also finished 76 and 86. Where was the growth? Year 6 was this year. You finished with 71 wins. They had 5 less wins this year than the previous 2 combined. Because both of those years, they finished 76 and 86, and this year they finished with 71. That is a step backwards. And as Travis Williams said in the quote, in the clip I played, basically, they didn't want to fire the GM now because they didn't want to go backwards. The fans already know we're going backwards. Why not just pull the trigger and get him out of here? Bring a new GM in here. You don't have to blow up the entire team. The fan base has said for so many months, and literally last offseason too, and it literally is like, fans are like, oh yeah, we told you so. That's exactly what the team needed. To get into the playoffs this year, you only needed 83 wins. That's how much wins the Reds tied with the Mets. That's how many wins the Reds had, by the way. You needed at least 84 wins to pass the Cincinnati Reds. You would think for a Pirates team, a small market team, that should be possible. The fan base literally was screaming at the top of their lungs, saying, you need bats. And they didn't get any bats. And as I just played in the Ben Cherington clip, he basically tells the fans that this offseason, the way they're going to be looking at talent is to try to get guys that are unproven. They are going to be getting guys that aren't proven commodities, and they're going to have to take a risk on. So think Spencer Horwitz types. Now, like I said, I love Spencer Horwitz. I actually really like what he has done. But again, you're not going to hit every time on that. Like I said, the Reds, to beat the Reds or even sneak into the playoffs, all you needed was 84 wins. That's it. As Noah says in the comments here, I completely agree. Just give us three average to slightly above average hitters, and we'll be good. But I'm not confident they'll do that. I'm not confident either because this team, the GM stinks. The ownership stinks. Like, the biggest problem is Bob Nutting. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, Ben Cherington needs to understand to not spend as much money as he is on the analytical department and spend more money on the players in his budget that he's actually given. And I have a gut feeling that the salary, despite them getting rid of contracts and blah, 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 they got rid of Hayes, got rid of Bednar and all that stuff. I have a bad feeling that they're just going to say the attendance was low again and not spend that money. They're not going to recoup that money into a player. They're not going to. And that's where it gets that's where it gets ugly. And it's going to suck. And as Noah also says in the comments here again, Pirates had the 5th most games where they allowed 3 or less earned runs, and the 4th most games with 3 or fewer runs scored. Pitching, amazing. Offense, awful. And this is the guy who's building the offense, and has not done good at all at it for a while. There was a time, I think Connor Joe's one of his best offensive pieces ever picked up. I'm pretty sure Spencer Horwitz is officially probably the number one. Maybe like Carlos Santana's in there. I know Jack Sawinski's 26 home run season is one of the top bats for a year that Ben Cherington has acquired. But now Jack Sawinski's just not good. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting offseason. I am going to plan to do more episodes. I'm probably going to release a recorded episode about this whole topic. I want to look more deep dive into these clips. Hopefully the audio worked on YouTube. I really hope it did. I'm going to go back and watch it. Thank you to Noah for commenting. He was in the chat a little bit. And thank you for anyone else that tuned in. I'm going to have some good old podcast content. I'm going to try to get it going a little bit more this offseason. Maybe look at some realistic targets. I'm not going to dream. I'm not going to be out there saying sign Pete Alonso because I just know it's not happening. Last year, I got my hopes up for like horrible players that aren't good. I got my hopes up for Tyler O'Neill. That's how horrible we are, that we have to pray for Tyler O'Neill to be a Pittsburgh Pirate. He should have been realistic, but they didn't get him, and then he got hurt as always. So Tyler O'Neill, blah, 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 it didn't happen. That's how we have to be realistic. So we need to start doing our scouting reports on players that are like a Spencer Horwitz type, that teams are blocked, that is blocked by a player like Horwitz was blocked by Vlad Jr. That's how you have to assess this team next year. This guy also is going to be trading Mitch Keller. Just think about it. He traded David Bednar, and I like how Rafael Flores has looked. And I made this whole episode about it. We went live. If you want to rewatch that, and my thoughts on the Flores thing, I felt bad for Flores because the fan base is going to have really high expectations for Rafael Flores because he was the prize of the David Bednar trade. But then it comes out that they had better offers for David Bednar, and he wanted this one because he liked the package more. He traded David Bednar, a all-star closer, who is now doing pretty well in the New York Yankees. And I really hope, just out of spite towards this ownership group and the whole front office and stuff, I want David Bednar closing out that World Series. I am actually rooting for the Yankees to win the World Series just to see David Bednar thrive when it matters, to see what they are missing out on and what they got rid of. And I hope David Bednar is a guy that honestly could come back when he's a free agent. I think in another year. I think he'll be on the Yankees all next year, and then probably a free agent after that. But yeah, I'm rooting for the Yankees and David Bednar. I want David Bednar closing out that World Series, just out of spite. But this guy's also going to be trading Mitch Keller. Mitch Keller's going to be gone. So they have the pitching rotation. They have that figured out. They'll probably still sign a left-handed pitcher. They always do. It was Heaney this year. It was Quintana, Hill. It goes Martin Perez. Every year there's always one. But yeah, Mitch Keller's probably gone. He's going to trade him for a haul of quantity over quality, more than likely. And yeah, his trade history isn't that good. I did a video with Jim from North Shore 9. We tier ranked them before the trade deadline, so it does not include the David Bednar trade or anything like that. But honestly, go back to their channel. You can watch that one, and it just shows how bad of his trade history actually has been. And that video is actually before Horwitz. It was right at the start of Horwitz, so we had him, I think, in C tier. But it wasn't as good, but he's probably going to be in B or A at the end of it. But yeah, we're all frustrated. I want to thank everyone for watching this. Thank you for tuning in. If you tuned in live, we're already about 23 minutes in, so I want to get this ended. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Leave a like down below. It would mean a lot. I'm getting very close to 400 subscribers. I'm trying to build this up to do something nice, like a little fun on the side. Try to make some more MLB content as we get closer to the offseason. I love making more offseason content because there's a lot more drama to talk about. And it's not just saying like, oh yeah, here's who's going to win MVP today. Oh yeah, here's the best pitch. We already know that Paul Skeens is the best pitcher in baseball. I don't know how to say that 50 different times. So I'm hoping to do some more offseason. I like doing that stuff in the offseason last year, saying like, oh yeah, here's where I think they're going to go. I'll probably do something about the MLB trade rumors. They'll probably release their top 25 free agents. I'll say if I agree with they're going or not. Something like that. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be back next episode. We'll probably break this down even more. Thank you all for watching, tuning in live. Have a good one. I'll see you next time.